What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the Locked On Red Sox podcast. I am your host, NESN's Lauren Campbell. Thank you so much for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. This will be a bit of a different episode today. It is Wednesday, January 12th. I can't believe we are already almost halfway through January. But Wednesday morning, about 7:30 a.m. this morning, former Red Sox pitcher Jon Lester, three-time World Series champion, threw a no-hitter, overcame lymphoma, and pitched the clinching Game 4 of the 2007 World Series. He announced his retirement after 16 MLB seasons. So today I'm just going to kind of relive my favorite Jon Lester moments with you, and I hope you will share yours with me too. But let's get into it.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So as I just mentioned, Jon Lester announced his retirement Wednesday morning from Major League Baseball. And what a career he had. He was very durable. He was very reliable. And he was somebody who should have been on the Red Sox for the entirety of his career. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But he is 38 years old. So this obviously maybe doesn't come as too much of a surprise. I think that it was shocking because for me, he was one of my favorite pitchers when he was drafted by the Red Sox. I really enjoyed watching his career, and I really, really took a liking to him. I loved watching him in high school. I would go around and make my schedule based off when he would start. He was just somebody I thoroughly enjoyed watching. I really enjoyed following his journey. He was drafted by the Red Sox in 2002, really just a homegrown talent. Like I said, should have been with the Red Sox for the entire 16 years of his MLB career, but we cannot live in the past. But that's kind of what we're going to do right now as we relive some of my personal favorite moments from Lester's career. And the first one I am going to talk about is his no-hitter in 2008. It came in May 2008 against the Kansas City Royals. It was his first full season back after receiving treatment for lymphoma in 2007. And no better person for this to happen to, especially the way that it happened. So he no-hit the Kansas City Royals. I remember I had just gotten home. I think I was working. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was watching. My grandmother was watching the game, and how you get into my mom's house, you can enter through the in-law apartment there. So I went in through there. She obviously was watching the Red Sox. She is a huge, huge Red Sox fan, and part of the reason that I pursued this crazy world of sports. So when I walked in, she says, "Sit down with me. Lester's throwing a no-hitter." And it was maybe the fifth or sixth inning, and I was like, "Oh no, you just said the word. You can't say those words." And we watched the rest of the game together. My brother and his then girlfriend had come into the house as well. And I was like, "Shush, don't say anything." And he's like, "Is Lester throwing?" I'm like, "Yes, enough, stop it." And they didn't watch it with us. They watched it in the living room in my mom's part of the house. And I got to watch Lester complete the no-hitter with my grandmother. It was a really cool moment to witness with her because she also very much loved Lester. She also knew how much I loved Lester as a pitcher. I had his 62 jersey. I still have it somewhere. I also have the 31 here as well. So I was able to watch that with her and take in that moment with her. But more so than just the actual no-hitter happening was how his teammates, and especially how Terry Francona, responded to everything. Obviously, Terry Francona was managing the team at that point, and Lester was giving his hugs to everyone. And just the way Francona embraced Lester was so incredibly heartwarming. It was so emotional. I got so emotional watching it. I still get emotional, like reliving these moments and watching them. as a 32-year-old woman instead of a 17-year-old kid. So that was a really cool moment, and it obviously had to have felt so good for him just to come back, defeat everything that he had already been through. And I'm going to mention this in our second segment, but he had said before he didn't want to be known as a cancer survivor. And I think at the end of the day, and at the end of Lester's career, no one's going to remember him that way. They're going to remember him as a 3-time World Series champion. They're going to remember him as the guy who no-hit the Kansas City Royals, who had a very durable career, who had 200 wins, and who was just a very, very good person and a very good teammate. You never really heard anything bad about him, if anything at all. So his no-hitter in 2008 is a moment that I certainly think about often, and it's certainly one that when I think of Jon Lester, I constantly go to that. That's one of the first things that comes to my mind. So, and I loved that I got to live it with my grandmother, and it's something we still talk about to this day. We still talk about how that we got to watch Jon Lester's no-hitter together. I do call her every day. I have not called her yet. I should have called her before I recorded this episode because she has the funniest one-timers. She always has something good to say. But on our next episode, I will let you know what she said about Lester's retirement. And we will talk more about Jon Lester and his career in our second segment of Locked On Red Sox. But before we get into that, I do need to tell you about Built Bar. You know me by now. You know I love telling you about Built Bar. You know I love Built Bars. And now that it's the new year, that means New Year's resolutions. And if yours is about getting fit or maybe eating a little bit healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar, or maybe even better than a candy bar. It makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. You will want to eat Built Bars, and they're unlike any other protein bars, which can be a little chalky, maybe they taste a little waxy, or maybe even a little bit like cardboard. Not Built Bars. And as somebody who leads an active lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, I know how boring healthy eating can get. By like week 3, you're probably thinking, this isn't worth it, is it? Where is my chocolate? Built Bar is what has your chocolate. They are covered in 100% real chocolate, and most of them contain about 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs. Just amazing calories. The macros are great, and they have so many different flavors. There is something for everyone. There's raspberry, mint chocolate, my personal favorite, cookies and cream. And here's an idea for the new year. Go to all of your secret treat stashes at home. Maybe you're like me and have a snack drawer at work, in the pantry, maybe in the office, at the office if you're still working from home, in the car, wherever. Throw out all those sugary or calorie-filled treats and replace them with Built Bars. So when you're craving a little snack or a little treat, you need that little chocolate and that little something to get you through the day. You can reach for something that's healthy and tastes incredible. Even if you're not a huge fan of working out, eating healthier is half the battle. So reach for the Built Bar. They taste so good and it's good for you. That way, when you have a delicious Built Bar, you can almost count it as a workout. And we have a special offer for you. Go to built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Red Sox. As always, thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. This episode, we are excited to talk about Jon Lester and his career, and I'm kind of just reliving some of my favorite moments over the last 16 years, and mainly the 9 years with the Red Sox. So my next and second moment that I want to talk about is 2007, the 2007 World Series. Jon Lester did come back in 2007 from his lymphoma treatments. He was deemed in remission, cancer-free, so that was an incredible milestone in and of itself. And he was able to rejoin the Red Sox in 2007, and not only rejoin them, but help them to a World Series championship and their second one in 3 seasons. So Lester returned about midway through the 2007 season. He did attend spring training, and he started the season in Class A Greenville. And then July 23rd is when Lester made his first start that season for Boston. It was against the Cleveland Indians in Cleveland, so unfortunately it couldn't be home, but he still went 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, and struck out 6, and he picked up the win. So that was an incredible return. And then when the Red Sox made it to the 2007 World Series, they played the Colorado Rockies. You obviously know by now that the Red Sox swept the Rockies and won the World Series for the second time since 2004. And what was so special about this one was Lester pitched game 4, and he was able to pitch 5 2/3 innings. He gave up 3 hits, 3 walks. He did have 3 strikeouts, but the important thing is that those shutout innings were so important because the Red Sox went on to win. He was able to pitch the clinching game 4 in 2007, just months after returning from lymphoma treatments. And this was his first postseason start ever. So it was just a whole lot of incredibleness, if that's even a word. It's just so much, again, emotion and so much fun to watch him overcome what he did, come back stronger than ever. And he became the 3rd pitcher in World Series history to win a series clinching game in his first postseason start. So a little bit of history, a lot of fun, and a lot of memories from just that one game, let alone that whole season. And also in that 2007 season, the Boston Baseball Writers Association of America awarded Jon Lester the Tony Conigliaro Award. So he got a lot of hardware that year, a very fun season for him, and a lot to just look back on and be proud of, because overcoming cancer and that as a whole is just an incredible accomplishment. But when you're able to overcome cancer, get back to your job and win a championship with your team, a very historic franchise, a franchise who had just won their first World Series in 86 years, 3 years prior, there's a lot there. There's a lot of emotion. And like I said earlier, Jon Lester is a very, very likable person. He was a very likable player. He was a fan favorite. So everyone, not just in Red Sox Nation, but baseball fans everywhere were rooting for Jon Lester. So to see him overcome everything that he did, pitch probably one of the biggest games of his career, make a little history, get some more awards, and it was just unbelievable. I was so happy watching that. I was so happy watching him be able to do what he did, get into the 6th inning in the World Series. I was a senior in high school, so I was so jazzed going to school the next day. My favorite pitcher, one of my favorite pitchers, won the World Series for the Red Sox. I wore my Jon Lester jersey. I wore my Red Sox sweatshirt. It was so much fun. My mom let me skip school to go to the Red Sox parade with a couple of my friends, and we went super early. We were right up against the barricade, and when Jon Lester came by, we screamed so loud. I don't think I've ever screamed so loud in my life, just because I was so excited to see him. I was still riding high on the Red Sox World Series championship. And again, everything he overcame was just absolutely incredible. We do have one more segment for you here on Locked On Red Sox, and we will get right back to our Jon Lester talk. But before we do that, I want to tell you about BetOnline, because BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. I'm a little nervous for this Saturday's Patriots-Bills game. It's always a really good game when these two AFC rivals get together. So I will very, very much be on my couch, very nervous from 8:15 until that game ends. But BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all of the sports wagering action for 2022. It's a new year, and a new updated desktop and mobile website will help you sign up today so you can receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started and get that 50% bonus. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Do not wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and the easiest way to wager on all of your favorite sports. And as somebody who is incredibly new to betting, I can very much confirm how fast and easy it is. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back to our third and final segment of Locked On Red Sox. Thank you so much for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. This is our episode dedicated to Jon Lester, who announced his retirement Wednesday after 16 years in MLB. And I could talk for hours and hours and hours about everything that he's accomplished in his career, but I wanted to just highlight 3 specific events from his career. And his third one was his World Series with the Chicago Cubs. Now, I was devastated when he decided to sign with the Cubs over the Red Sox, though I completely understand why. It still sucked to see him go to Chicago. But much like the Red Sox, the Cubs are a very storied franchise, very historic. And they were also in a very, very large World Series drought. And if anyone I wanted them to help get out of that drought, it was Jon Lester. And he helped them. He was able to get the Cubs a World Series, their first in over 100 years. Again, just another historic World Series win. It was their first World Series win since 1945. So my math is not good. That was in 2016. No, I'm not good at math. I am a journalist for a living. So it was over 100 years. It was a lot of years that Lester got to be a part of. So again, like I've said pretty much all episode, just to see what he's gone through in his personal life and throughout his career to earn that third World Series was just unbelievable. I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter today, and I'm sure this is going to be a thing now for a while, is he a Hall of Famer? I unfortunately don't think he is, but he's certainly a Red Sox legend. I think he's going to go down as an incredible MLB pitcher, not just with the Red Sox, but throughout his MLB career. He was stable, he was durable, he was reliable, and he always helped his team win. And like I said before, just a likable, nice dude. And there was so much to like about him. There was very little, if really anything, to not like about him, except when he wasn't pitching for the Red Sox. No fault of his own. So I'm certainly not mad at him for not coming back to the Red Sox when he had the opportunity. I hope retirement treats him incredibly well. Maybe we'll see him do some analyst work. I don't really have a clue if he would be interested or if he would be even good at it. I know some players just don't translate well into analyst life, and that's fine. But if he just wants to live his life with his kids and his family, by all means, he certainly earned it. And I'm so excited for him. Definitely a little sad, but I'm so happy that he was able to have such a strong career, rack up so many wins, and earn 3 World Series in the process. So that will do it for Wednesday's episode of Locked On Red Sox. Thank you so much for chatting with me about Jon Lester. Drop your favorite moments from Jon Lester's career in the comments. Tell me on Twitter at Lauren. Find all of my written work right on NESN.com. We wrote about Jon Lester today, so please go check that out. Be sure to check out all of the other shows across the Locked On network. Locked On A's, Locked On Yankees, Locked On Giants. Everyone's doing an incredible job, especially during this time when there is a lockout. And be on the lookout for more Locked On episodes this week and next week. Jake and I have a slew of guests lined up, so we are so excited to bring you those episodes. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Red Sox. You can subscribe right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast. Please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And now that you have made Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day, head on over to Locked On Bets to make it your second listen. Locked On Bets is your one-stop shop for all of your betting needs. It's hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Have a great day. We will see you soon.